the review of triangle congruence. So please follow along. Now we're looking at number 1. Given VR bisects TRV, so we're going to look T, R, and V. VR bisects this angle right here. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it means we only know that angle. We also, if this is a right angle, this has to be a right angle. And we know this side is congruent to this side by reflexive. Do we know this is congruent? Do we have 3 things marked on each triangle? No. No, so not congruent. Okay? Because we need another angle or side to prove congruency. Okay, number 2. Given that P is the midpoint of ZQ, angle WPQ is congruent to YZP. Those two are supposed to be congruent to each other. And Q and Z are right angles. So I have 3 things, but they're not in the same order. So this is not congruent. I thought there was a typo yesterday, and then I talked to my coworker who wrote this, and he's like, no, you're supposed to see that it's not congruent. Not congruent. We do not have the same things congruent. Okay? If you can't see it, you can always move up, but I'll zoom in. Is that better? So this has this angle and this angle are congruent, and this are right angles. So it doesn't it doesn't have corresponding angles that are congruent. They're not in the same spots. Okay, number 3. Given that D is the midpoint of EG and D is the midpoint of FJ, do we know these are congruent?
Yes.
What else are we missing here that we have?
The angle.
Vertical angles, right? These are congruent. That's swoop line. Okay, so yes. This is congruent by side, angle, side.
Would you put like the triangle JDG is congruent to?
Yes. And now we would put triangle JDG is congruent to triangle FDE. And you have to put them in the order where they match. J and F match, E and G match, and D matches D. So they have to be in that order, or you will not get full credit. Yes. Okay.
I thought you go by like the top.
So if you look, see how D, G, and ED match? So that means that angle E and G must match each other. Okay. All right. Number 4, given we've got these angles match, these angles match. We know this side matches by what? What is that called again? Reflexive. So this is congruent by angle, side, angle. Okay. So it's triangle. SXH is congruent to triangle HSD. Nope, HDS. I'll just rewrite it.
It doesn't matter.
Hmm?
It doesn't matter like what order it's in as long as like the same.
They match each other, right? S and H have to match each other. X and D match each other. H and S match each other. Okay. Yes, I certainly can. All right, let's look at number 5. So what else do we have here? We have these 2 sides are congruent, these 2 angles are congruent. Anything else?
The inside.
This is congruent by what again?
reflex.
So now I have these triangles are congruent by
Angle, side angle, side.
side angle side. So that is triangle QSX is congruent to triangle TSX. You feeling pretty good so far? So remember, we should have our vocab in front of us. So if we see this and we're like, these sides match, what does that mean again? You can look up that. If you don't remember that these are vertical angles, you should see a picture on your vocab so you can find it. Okay?
Is that the right order?
I don't know. QSX. Q and T match, right?
Uh-huh.
S and X match, right?
Yeah.
And S and X match. Yeah. I went here. Then I went here. Then I went here.
Wait, but you have S and S matched up.
I have Q and T. S, you're right. Right. There we go. Good job, Kirsten. Okay, let's look at the next side. All right, we're going to make these triangles congruent, and then we're going to match all their corresponding sides.
They're
You
already
could-
congruent.
We know they're congruent. Yep, we just have to write a congruency statement. Okay, so first, I'm going to do all the angles and all the sides, and then do the congruency statement at the end. So what angle does O match? It matches with P. What angle does N match? N matches X. What angle does Z match?
Y.
Y. Okay, side OZ matches side
EY.
PY, good. ON matches side
PX.
NZ matches side.
XY.
Good. And then my triangle ONZ is congruent to triangle PXY. See how I can just go straight in a line now? Because I was having all that trouble on the other side. But when I've matched up their angles, I can just list it. We're listening, right, Ashley and Daryl? Okay. Questions?
That's all we had to do?
Yep.
Oh. That's the only one I didn't do.
Because you didn't understand how to do it. Do you feel better about it now? You're going to ace that part of the quiz? Okay. All right, moving it up. All right. Are these two buildings congruent to each other?
Yes.
What else do I have that's not written on here? Daryl, stop.
Angle E.
The mid.
No, midpoint. What is this called? What are these called? Vertical angles, right? Yes. And it's by angle, side angle. Okay. Let's do our proof, your guys' favorite part of this whole thing. So first, I'm going to divide this up and have statements and reasons. Okay. So let's look at our picture first. I've got AC is congruent to DC. I've got angle B is congruent to angle E. Anything else?
The vertical angle is from C.
Vertical angles from C. And so now this triangle is congruent by what? Angle, angle, side. Remember, I can't be angle, side, angle unless the side's in between them. So I'm going to write down number one. What am I going to write, guys?
AC.
By what? What's the reason? Then what am I going to write?
Angle ACE is congruent to BC.
I would do the other given part first. Angle B is congruent to angle E by given. Then, just like Jay was saying, I'm going to do angle ACE is congruent to angle DCB by vertical angles. I'm just going to put VA for vertical angles. Okay. Step 4. What's my 4th step, guys?
Triangle ABC is congruent to EDC by angle and side.
Good. Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EDC by angle, side.
Can you put SA in?
Yeah. Okay. I am just going to read out number 9 and 10, guys, because I'm recording this. I know we did it yesterday, but I just want it up here, okay? So moving this up. Okay, here's my picture and my proof for number 9. All right. We've got given that x is the midpoint of SR. We've got RX is congruent to SX by definition of a midpoint. Then we have angle E is congruent to A given. R is congruent to S given. So the triangles are congruent by angle, side. That's number 9. Number 10. We're given that FH is parallel to AR given. So we're given angle EAF is congruent to RFA by alternate interior angles. Then we're given that E is congruent to R. We're given that FA is congruent to FA by reflexive. So the triangles are congruent by angle, side. Yes, that's a given for number 10. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop the recording. You have the rest of the hour to work on your next 2 proofs. 3 proofs? You have 3 proofs? Okay. I would try to get them done this hour. If you can't, try to get at least 2 out of the 3 done. And you want to study for that quiz tomorrow.
Oh my